Hey, what's up guys? We're back for another video. This time we're going to do another Hunter x Hunter video. This will be the second one we've put up on the channel. And I figured it would be a quick, easy one. We did a tier list last time. It seemed to go okay. Let's just do another one and see how that goes. This one specifically we're doing based on the Phantom Troop, which is one of the more infamous groups in the Hunter x Hunter series. We actually know a good bit about most of the characters, so being able to rank them should be pretty simple. And I will go ahead and state now, I'm gonna rank them based on how I imagine they would do in nin combat. So specifically fighting one another, for example, who I think the strongest would be in terms of combat from them. But the reason I picked the Phantom Troop is, with any luck, we might get Hunter x Hunter coming back in 2026. The last chapters, I believe, were released in later 2024. Actually, I think in December or November of 2024. And we've just started 2026, so we had the whole year off, and we know Tagashi was doing a lot of work on just getting chapters started or storyboarding, and we actually, I believe, just recently heard that the two next chapters that would release, I believe 411 and 12, have been sent in, and they're just, they're actually going to get worked in at some point. But Tagashi likes to release in batches of 10, so odds are we're going to be waiting for the next 8 to be fully finished before we start releasing anything. That being said, though, during the Secession War arc where we're at, or where the story is at now, the Phantom Troop is playing what I'd call a pretty pivotal role in exactly what's going on. It seems that some of the groups, specifically in the underworld of the Empire, seem to want to use the Phantom Troop to actually start war between the others, or wipe out the other Mafia factions, or kind of, I guess, just use them for their own goals to make themselves easier. And then there is also, I guess, everybody seems to, some of them seem to actually fanboy for the Phantom Troop. I don't remember which character it was, but it was from one of the Mafia families, was like completely fanboying over, especially Hisoka and Crollo, but over the entire Phantom Troop and how awesome they are. Well, with that being said, though, there could be a pretty pivotal point in the arc, or at least what happens to them, because it seems that they could all die this arc, or for all we know, they could all somehow get away. I don't see that happening, I'll be honest. The Black Whale is becoming an absolutely crazy place where a lot of killing is going on, and I do not see every spider making it out of here, especially since if you look at this list here, how many of these characters are currently dead in the manga of Hunter x Hunter? So I guess I'll go ahead and say manga or anime spoilers right now. If you've only seen the Hunter x Hunter anime, I will be basing this on the manga. So with that being said, spoilers. So characters in this list here who have died. Pakunoda died actually in the anime series, so we know that. Kortopi died, and Shalnark died. Kortopi and Shalnark were actually killed by Hisoka after Hisoka was killed by Crollo, but Hisoka came back using his own post-mortem nin with his bungee gum ability. Also, Illumi ended up joining the Phantom Troop just more recently, we'll say, in the manga. It's been a long time, but if you haven't seen the anime, then you would know that he's part of the Phantom Troop. And Uvogin. I almost forgot Uvogin down here. He did die in the anime. He was actually the one to die first before Pakunoda. So, with so many of the spiders still alive, though, and them being on the Black Whale, I think it'd be cool to go ahead and rank them on power, just so that way we kind of have an idea of where they stand. So we're going to start with some of the easy ones. D tier is going to be literally the spiders who I think are absolutely the weakest. And some of them are just not that great in combat. Not to say that they're bad, but I don't think they're good, particularly. And some of them would admit to it. So I think the lowest ranking spider for me is going to be Kortopi. If I'm not mistaken, when they did the actual strength rankings of the spiders, he not only ranked the lowest, but his ability isn't set for combat. He was literally just blown away by Hisoka. He pretty much just one-shot him. From what we understand. Killed him, no issue at all. Like, absolutely. He did about the same thing to Shalnark, but we have more feats from Shalnark to actually be able to rank him a little higher. I think the only other characters I'd rank in this tier are probably Kaluto, who admitted to herself, though I'd put her above Kortopi, who, when we saw Phaeton fighting against Zazan during the Chimera Ant arc, she said that she was having trouble keeping up with him, and some of these other spiders, I'll be honest, I really need to brush up on their names, because the only one I can't think of her name right now is, I don't know why I can't think of her name. Characters like Machi, or people like Finks, and people like Shulnark were all able to see Phaeton's moves and actually said that he looked quite rusty. So they seem to be on a power level above Kaluto. She even said that she believes now that becoming the strongest in the spider group would be near impossible to do, and that was her initial goal and thought it would be easy. After seeing Phaeton just in a rusty form, she believed that the spiders were out of her league, so I'm just going to put her towards the bottom of the list. After that, I would say our next weakest, and the only other one I'm going to put down here is Pakunoda, and it's solely because she did not get much of anything done, and then she died pretty quickly. I will say, I believe she probably would be about as strong overall as Kaluto, maybe a little weaker, without much to go on. I'm going to put her right above her, just based on that. Again, I kind of want to put her right below Kaluto, but they're right in the same area for me. Just because she's actually already passed on, so she's not getting any more feats, we'll put her right there. Next, going forward, the C tier is going to be a bunch of the spiders who I kind of find to be in the mid rank, who just aren't as powerful. Is her name Shizuku? I think it's Shizuku. I'm having issues remembering her name for some reason. She's already stated herself not to be the most powerful physically, so we're going to put her down here. She has a bad matchup into Hisoka, which is also what Benolanov said in a recent chapter. Her and the both of them came to Crollo and said that they would not be a good matchup against Crollo, and they were against Hisoka, and then they thought that they would lose to him in combat. So I'm going to go ahead and put her next lowest on this list, but again above Kaluto because she was having no issues seeing Phaeton while Kaluto was. After that, I would kind of go with the Phantom Troop members. We also don't have a lot to go on or don't seem to be as physically strong, such as Shulnark, who was able to beat his aunt that he was fighting. It seemed more easier than she was, but also he does not seem to be exactly innate to combat. After that, surprisingly, I think I'm probably going to go with Franklin because the only thing we've actually seen Franklin do is shoot bullets from his fingers. Nin bullets, which are stronger than normal bullets, mind you, but we haven't seen him do anything else. And while he is pretty physically powerful, for some reason I feel like in total Nin combat, I'm not seeing him being that versatile. And I'll be honest, a lot of Nin combat is versatility more than raw strength. Beyond that, I'll be honest, I don't know if I have anybody else who needs to go into the C tier. The B tier is going to be kind of that next level up, people who are fairly strong, but I don't think are the strongest in the troop pretty clearly. That's probably a realm where I would put more characters like... Actually, what I would rather do, let's jump up and go ahead and establish who I think the strongest characters are. Because there's really three of them that fall into this tier. It's Crollo, it's Hisoka, and it's Illumi. And I would put Hisoka currently in the story above Crollo. Even though Crollo beat Hisoka, we could say, and he did, he killed him. Guess what? Hisoka came back, and we know that post-mortem Nin just makes the user even stronger. And we know that Hisoka right now is going after Crollo and the spiders again because he has already taken out Cortopi and Shulnark since, and he believes he can defeat them all. Not only that, Crollo is literally running from Hisoka, again, choosing not to fight him again, knowing that he needs to become stronger in order to defeat Hisoka, which is a part of why, again, they're now on the Black Whale, trying to steal the treasure from the Kakyoin, that's a JoJo's character, from the Empire, so that way he's able to upgrade his skill hunter. We don't know what this upgrade exactly would be. He just said vaguely that he needs to steal some super treasure to be able to upgrade it. For all we know, that's how he got the bookmark ability that he has to use 2 powers, or just use 1 without having his book open. But odds are this upgrade would be similar to that, and maybe letting him use another ability, maybe lessen the restrictions to take an ability from people, maybe may let him use the second ability with like a second bookmark so he can use 2 without it open, and maybe 3 in total. Who knows? I'll be honest, I'm not sure, but he is trying to upgrade it so that way he can become strong enough in order to... And it could be that he needs to get a stronger Nin ability, and he can't get certain strong Nin abilities potentially currently because maybe it is the restrictions. So maybe that's what it is. It's less restrictions for stronger abilities. He could then collect those easier, and then he would have an easier time potentially. Who knows? But we do know that he is... At this point, he seems to be the number 1 character that Hisoka wants to go after and kill again. Not only that, he was the number 1 character he wanted to fight before he was actually killed, rather than Illumi, which in my head means Hisoka believes Crollo is stronger than Illumi, which justifies my belief that he's also probably stronger than Illumi, considering when the two Zoldyck, Zeno, and Silva fought Crollo, they were pretty even with him, though nobody was exactly seemed to be trying to kill the other in that fight. per se. I will say the Zoldyck seemed to be kind of trying, but I really don't think they were really going all out because they knew that if Illumi took care of the Dons, then they didn't even have to kill Krollo. So I think they were more kind of biding their time in that fight. Kind of, if they kill him easily, great, and if not, it is what it is. But those are my three strongest pretty easily. After that, I think we'll kind of break into the A tier because, again, I don't think there's that many characters who fall next. Uvogin, unbelievably powerful. Gotta be in the A tier. Unbelievably powerful in the spiders. He was a part of the, I believe it was, I don't remember what they called it, but it was essentially like the forward vanguard or the attack force of the spiders. Along with, I believe it was Nobunaga and Finks, who I would rank in this same tier. After that, I would probably put Phaeton. But I think Phaeton is actually probably stronger than Nobunaga and Finks. I would say that based on feats, and I would actually say that, again, Finks is stronger than Nobunaga too, because we haven't seen Nobunaga actually do a ton. I'd put Benolanov in the B tier, not just because his name is Benolanov, but we saw him do pretty good damage and handle, I'd say, his Chimera Ants easier than these two. And honestly, he seemed to be picking fights with some of the, I think it was Finks, as if he thought he could handle a fight with him. So I think they're kind of justified to put in a similar realm, but I don't think he is as strong, and I think he has more weaknesses in his Nin ability. Machi, I think, while physically weaker than somebody like Franklin, has more, I think, potential in her Nin abilities and what she's able to do. I have a feeling that while she might not be the strongest, she probably is a lot more adept in terms of strategy and just general use of her Nin. So this is probably about, I'm looking over, I don't really think I'm seeing anything that stands out to me too much. Yeah, no, this looks about right to me, to be honest with you. These three are undoubtedly our three strongest spiders. Uvogin I would think about putting up here in the S tier as well, but I don't think he's as powerful as they are. I do think he is more powerful, though, than these three, and I think they are clearly the next three most powerful within the spider group when we go ahead and remove them. So after that, I'd say there's kind of a little bit of wiggle room in the B and C. Really, like you can move Franklin up to Machi, maybe Machi down below Franklin, maybe move Shelnark above Franklin because we've seen him do more, but I don't know. Again, we didn't see Shelnark do a whole lot while we saw Franklin do nothing, but Franklin is said to be stronger, and I would guess, just based on his being big, beefy guy, he's probably a little better for combat than Shelnark, whose main combat ability, if he can't stick you with his needle, which he'd have a hard time doing to Franklin at least with his range, right, would be to go Super Saiyan, and if he can't beat you fast, he even said himself, it runs him out of energy, and then he can't use, like, any real Nin ability, or any real Nin for, like, days. So, not too good. So this is about where I'd rank the spiders. Realistically, in the current arc, there are some really big hitters kind of moving around on the Black Whale. I think the safest characters from dying, I'll be honest with you, are really just Illumi and Kaluto. I don't think Hisoka is actually aiming to kill them. I think he wants them to try to kill him, but I don't think he intends to kill those two, and I don't think the two Zoldicks are going to get killed. All the other spiders are pretty much up for grabs. I would think we know that Machi and Hisoka kind of have a thing, but we don't know if that's going to save Machi from being killed by Hisoka. Krollo and Hisoka are going to almost certainly fight again, and for all we know, they could both die. So I can't really say either of them are safe, but they are the most powerful users, and I don't think they, or at least Hisoka, doesn't have to fear anybody on this list, except maybe Illumi, and I don't even think he has to fear Illumi. Krollo, on the other hand, only might have to fear Illumi, and he definitely has to fear Hisoka, and that's why he needs to upgrade his ability. Everybody else, I mean, they have to worry about Hisoka, potentially, and they need to worry about the other Nin users on the ship. None of who are currently targeting the spiders. It's just Hisoka on the whale targeting the spiders, but it's looking like at the moment, if I had to guess, the next spider to die is going to be Benolanov, because he was last seen closest to Hisoka in the manga in more recent chapters. He actually used a Nin ability we didn't see in the anime, where he could take over somebody's likeness, like look like them, at least like transform into like a copy of them, essentially. And he almost ran into Hisoka while he was being Hisoka. So, kind of an odd interaction. Hisoka's pretty aware, and I have a feeling, even though we weren't directly shown that, he saw himself, and I think we got an odd comment from him in that same chapter, so it kind of made me believe, and others believe, that he witnessed Benolanov as him, and he probably knows, whether he knows about that ability, he would know that that means somebody is looking for him or using his likeness, and odds are he's going to find that person, and probably take them out. And odds are it is the spiders. He knows they're on the ship, and he knows that they have some crazy powers. So, if I had to guess, Benolenov's going next. If I had to guess after that, it's probably Shizuku. She could go next, actually, because last time we saw her and Benolenov went to Krollo, and it asked him to if they could tag along together with him, so that way they wouldn't get killed by Hisoka, because they are bad matchups for him and in combat. And then Krollo came up with the idea of Benolenov checking the higher levels, and then he didn't say what Shizuku should do. But the thing is, if she's alone, which it seems that she is, and she's, thinks she'd lose to Hisoka in a fight, or certain of it rather, it's kind of bad that Hisoka's hunting the spiders and she seems to be alone. So I think those are my two spiders who I think would next be taken out. They're not particularly strong, and Hisoka's just light years beyond them. But that's a bit of a tangent. Anyways, I wanted to make this a fairly quick video, but not super short. This is my basic power ranking of the spiders. If you guys have any comments or anything, any differences in opinions, you guys think maybe Uvogin's stronger or weaker, really anything at all that you think is different, feel free to go ahead and debate in the comments. Like this video if you made it this far. I appreciate everybody who watches any of the videos, and I hope everybody's had a great New Year so far. We're about halfway through January. I just hope everybody's New Year started out good. Anyways, I'll try to be back at it for another video much quicker this time, but in the meantime, I hope everybody gets to relax and the new year just keeps going on well. All right, have a good one, guys. Peace. Bye.